If you're new to the channel, please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe and leave a comment down below. And also check out our partners, Nerds in the Hood, down in the description. And I hope to see you later on. Peace out. What's up, you guys, and welcome to another alternative factuals video. Today we're going to be talking about something we usually never really talk about on the channel. We've never done a video for it before, but it was something that I was watching on Hulu and I was really thinking like, yo, what happened to this show? But before I get into today's video, be sure to check the description for the links to our podcast. You know, we're currently converting some audio so we can upload it for you guys to listen to outside of YouTube. Maybe have a long drive, maybe you don't, but just something nice for you to hear. Some of it is a little older, so it may not be as clean compared to the newer audio. You'll probably be able to tell the difference. But besides that, let's jump right into today's video. So many of you probably have, well, it depends honestly. For those of you who are approximately about my age, probably in their mid to late 20s as well as early to mid 30s, you remember this show called Danny Phantom. Now, for those of you who don't know who Danny Phantom is, this is a show literally about a teenage boy who was 14 years old and gaining the abilities of a ghost while still maintaining his human form due to this portal that his parents made because his parents were also ghost hunters, and in this show the ghost hunters were able to build and establish ghost hunting portals and weapons and ectoplasm based grenades and all that stuff. Like, the show was actually pretty good and it was ahead of its time in a lot of ways. Now, the show was actually created by Butch Hartman. He was the one who also created the Fairly Odd Parents, and like I said, the show was more enjoyable in its earlier seasons, but that's not the point of this video. Now, I kind of want to break down Danny Phantom, but not break him down like, oh, this show was super deep and it was just so intuitive to the teenagers. Don't get me wrong, they hit a lot of things about being a teenager as well as some of the messages that they had in their episodes, of course, like a lot of shows that existed in early 2000s. But I kind of want to get into how powerful he is and why so many people want this show to return, because in a lot of ways it was extremely revolutionary and one of the earlier shows in 2000 that actually did explore alternate timelines, and I'm going to get into that a little later on in the video. Now, a lot of you probably, well, some of you already know like how he kind of had his powers. Like I said, I mentioned it early in the video where initially the first episode picks up with him actually having his powers for approximately about a month or so, and then at this point he wasn't really fighting ghosts or fighting villains or anything like that. And as we got to get to know his character and his relationship with Sam and Tucker and all that stuff, we actually saw how he was interacting with everybody else while he's growing up as a teenager, while he's not really the most popular kid in school, which was a very common theme in these kind of shows. But we saw the growth of his character and eventually people finding out who he was at the end of the series and actually seeing that he's been fighting on their side the whole time. Now, we actually see that Danny, of course, throughout the series, that, you know, Danny's kind, easygoing, helpful, and compassionate, and he likes using his powers for good. But being a teenage boy, you know, he was very into playing pranks, because there was an episode actually I just finished watching where he was playing a prank on Vlad for like a good solid week straight, and then Vlad was like top 5 petty and was just like, nah, not only am I going to be petty, I'm going to take over the whole town, be your mayor just to get even with you. And yeah, that led into a whole other set of issues with him rigging the elections with his abilities. And remember, Vlad was the older version of Danny Phantom, but not actually Danny. Vlad was a friend of his parents, actually. Danny has his parents who they were, like I said, ghost hunters, and both of his parents are actually named Jack and Maddie Fenton. Those are his parents. He had a college friend who they were exploring the ghost dimension with, and he actually developed the same exact powers as Danny, but for some reason Danny seems to be developing powers that are a little bit more powerful than Vlad. It's actually been foretold that he would be more powerful, not the evil version in that timeline, but you know, he would be actually more powerful than Vlad, and he started to display traits that actually gave Vlad a little bit of a sign that, yeah, he's going to be a problem. But the show was revolutionary in a lot of ways, because not only was Danny's power set really incredible, I mean, he had things like transformation, intangibility, invisibility, flight, echo energy, ghost ray, repulsion field, energy strike, echo energy, constructions, ghost shield, and power augmentation, ghost stinger, photokinesis, the ghostly whale was by far one of the most powerful ones, and I don't think y'all understand how powerful. In one episode, his ghostly whale was able to engulf the entire Sphinx that was being possessed by a ghost. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Great Sphinx of Egypt is literally 4,500 years old and made of limestone, excuse me. The Great Pyramid of Giza measures 240 feet long, 66 feet high, and the Great Sphinx is one of the world's largest monuments, and his ghostly whale was able to engulf the whole thing during a fight in one episode. So his powers are no joke, and he has a very interesting power set actually for the most part, and his powers
powers also included like, you know, superhuman strength, agility, durability, a healing factor, and reflexes and all that stuff, run of the mill. And to some degree, he was able to kind of manipulate weather a little bit, but I think he lost that power a little early in the series. But the show was extremely revolutionary because it did explore alternate timelines, like I mentioned probably like a minute ago, where he had an evil version of himself from the future, but that timeline was altered because one, he developed a ghostly whale years before he actually was supposed to, and two, he never made the choice that encouraged him to follow the path that made him turn evil, supposedly, where he cheated on a state exam, and that kind of opened the door for him going down this bad path. And the point of that episode was try your best to be honest. Even if there's an opportunity for you to cheat or do something wrong, chances are you probably shouldn't take it, because it's just a gateway into doing something that's a lot worse. But overall, the show was pretty phenomenal. Like, there's a lot of things that was going on in the show that I just cannot simply get to in this video. It was just it was actually really well written. For the most part, they consistently did have a plot where each episode was kind of standalone-ish, but they still had a build up to where it was going for the end of the show overall. And everything seemed to have fed into the other. Everything was extremely well thought out, well written, and like I said, it was mostly designed for people who are going through their teenage years or preteen, so that way they can have an idea of how to navigate high school while still making it a little bit fun, while using that fan fiction fantasy kind of thing and exploring the aspects of ghosts and ectoplasms. And they had a lot of things in there that was really cool about the show overall. But if you're new to the channel, please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe and leave a comment down below, and don't forget to ring that bell, and I hope to see you later on. Peace out.